Hi guys, it's Leann here, and today on this podcast, we are just throwing it out there. We are going to have a good time. We are baking brownies. This time our brownies are the Crusties, LOL, Crusties gluten-free double chocolate brownie mix. It is not dairy-free though, but who the hell cares? Let's just get into it, shall we? But before we go any further, I should notate that we are going to be talking about controversial topics today. It's really kind of about the election. I am no religious person. I am no, what's that called? Political person either. This is just my opinions, my thoughts. And if you're just here for the cooking, you enjoy that too, because you know what? The cooking is going to be just as fun. Let's get it. Like always, we have two cameras. We have one right here and one right here. I don't know what that was. Please get out of here. So, we have a mixing bowl and a pan, a measuring cup, avocado oil, but it does say that you could use any other oil, one little mini egg here, and good old water to be drinking. Hydrate yourself. So let's just get into it. Before we even start mixing, I want to put some avocado oil on here. And this pan at one point used to be nonstick. It is unfortunately not nonstick anymore, but let's just hop right into it. So I believe that I was actually eligible to vote for the last election, so the one where Biden had won, but I don't think I voted. I'm 100% sure I didn't vote, and I know, shame on me, I didn't vote, and I did not vote this year, and I will get to that later. But my lips are really chapped, so I'm gonna have to take a mini break there for a second. So our pan is old. You could also use Pam spray or something really similar. I just don't have that. Mixing bowl. Heat oven to 325. I'm going to do 350 because our oven quite literally freaking sucks. Water, oil, egg, and brownie mix. So going back to what I was talking about, I did not end up voting the last two elections. So this past one and the one that just currently happened. And I realized that I did not vote, not because I didn't care, because I do care who's president, let me tell you. I just want to understand the process of how the election works. And I was talking about this with a coworker, again, not to be political or anything. It was just literally for a learning experience. So we need a third cup of water going in, and a third cup of oil of choice. But I was talking to my coworker. Okay, we're going old school method here. Sorry, I really have to focus here. But I wanted to learn more, and in economics and stuff like that in high school, they didn't really teach you very much on elections and stuff like that, in which they really should, because I was not quite sure how it worked. Like, is it just that you vote? Can you vote if you don't have a particular opinion on like Republican or Democratic? Like, do you have to have a party? Do you have to choose? Like, I knew none of this stuff going in. So, and I felt bad because a lot of people were telling me to vote and don't forget to vote, but like I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just don't know. Like, I want to learn more before I do something. It's like expecting your kid to know how to cook before they're two. Like, they need to learn from you first. So I was like, I really just want to learn more about it. So, and the coworker gave me a lot of like great information and stuff to learn, really, and to think about going into the next election. But first of all, what I can remember from Donald Trump being in office, like president, his first term, I found that our prices were so much cheaper. And I remember going from I remember our grocery bill being, I don't want to say ridiculously low, but like, it was a good price. Like, our grocery bill was really good, and our gas prices were really freaking good. Now, I'm not saying that's everything that I am like looking for in a president, because it's not, and I'm looking for someone who's going to do the right things or attempt to do the right things, because I found out that, I mean, I kind of knew this part. Let me say I kind of knew this part, but I remembered that the president can, like, what is that word? Like, he can attempt on a bill and like attempt to make something. So like, for instance, like I think the Roe versus Wade, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. The Roe versus the Wade. Now that this is all ready to go, I am going to switch over to the other camera again, and we're going to chit chat more. But continuing on with what I was saying, not that like, I'm looking for a president who, like, I would want to vote for a president who honestly attends to not only the country but women's rights, because women's rights are, again, very controversial. And honestly, I think that I'm pro to whatever you want. Like, if you want that abortion, you go for it, because in the back of your mind, even though you're going to feel guilty, it's going to be the right freaking decision for you, regardless of any freaking situation. Rather you had gotten raped, or rather just honestly weren't ready, or financial decisions, or your health, and I feel like your health is the biggest thing. And honestly, I'm so not used to having this mic here. I feel like there's some women who, when they get pregnant, it's an ectopic pregnancy, which, if you don't know, it is practically just a pregnancy that is made outside of the outside of where the baby is supposed to be, outside of the ovaries. So let me re-say that again, because I feel like I said it so many different ways. But an ectopic pregnancy is made outside of the ovaries, which won't last. And there's some who just, like, there's some people who their pregnancy, like, there's some diagnoses you can get during pregnancy, and I'm not a doctor by any means, but there's some diagnoses you can get during pregnancy that make it to where your baby will not live outside of the womb. For instance, like, I think I saw someone on TikTok or Instagram basically say that, I think that her baby's kidneys were not developed, and so it would make it hard it would basically make the baby unlivable outside of the womb and stuff like that. And I feel like there's so many things that could go wrong in a pregnancy, make it to where an abortion is the best and the safest option for you and your baby. that's what I just think. I have like no, I honestly have no like other thoughts on that. I was gonna say no regrets, but I've never had a kid, so I can't say that. But what I can say is that honestly, yeah, the baby is technically a living organism, or a living human being, if you will. But if it's not in your stomach, it's most likely not going to live outside of like 30, I think it's 35 weeks, I believe it is, that which is considered full term. Alexa, put on a 48-minute timer. Like I said in my last one, I always have to check on her because sometimes she does not hear me. Okay, she actually heard me this. I think that women's rights are so important, and I feel like women should be allowed to vote. We're at the time and age where, first of all, it is so hard to be the main sole breadwinner, if you will. And it's hard to live on your own as it is. I mean, it's very hard to live down here in Florida on your own, regardless anywhere else in the country. But I feel as though, like, whether it's the right to vote or the right to your own body and to make decisions for yourself, or whether that be, you know, like X, Y, and Z, I think women's rights are important. And from my knowledge, going back into Donald Trump's first presidency, I feel like we didn't have that much of an issue until Biden came into office. And from what I've heard, which again, I don't kind of follow through with a lot of political stuff, so this is very amateur chit chat, but I think that Kamala Harris were to have won, from what I've heard from other people and kind of just stating facts, she was in office right next to Donald Trump the entire freaking time. So if she would have personally took account of all of these things, and, you know, whether that's women's rights or basic things like our prices for groceries and gas, and again, the most basic things in the whole wide world, I feel like then I probably would have voted for her. But honestly, like, if I had voted in this election, I probably would have voted for her, and if she had wanted those things. But honestly, and I'm looking out the window again, it's kind of just always the first thing that I see in front of me. But kind of switching over to the topic of third party and just like parties in general, I always thought when you voted, like when you went to go vote, that you had to choose a party. And that was what I was most scared of, is because I don't want to choose a party and then like only choose it for whoever is, whatever party the president is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's how I thought it worked. Like I didn't think that like Democratic had this like X, Y, and Z under them, and Republican had this underneath them. Like, I didn't know about that. So I guess within the next 4 years, I need to do some more research. And I asked my coworker, kind of again, because this coworker's a little bit more into the politics side of things. Again, I was only asking just kind of like questions because this person is a little older than I am, but just like basic questions. But I asked if like, fuck, I forgot what I asked. Hold on, one moment. Thinking in my skull. I kind of asked like, how do you know what the president is actually saying is what they're gonna do? And basically, this coworker had said that you kind of have to do research. You kind of have to, I guess, go based off of like what they've done in the past, or like for Kamala Harris, like what she's done in the past 4 years of being in office while while Joe Biden was president, you know, things like that. You have to practically like do research and know certain things, and like basically doing research. And that's nice to know because I can learn those things over time. And because I really do think it is important to vote. I think that there is just, I think it's not as easy as just voting for who you think is good fit for president. Like, and that's what I was like, I want to do a lot more research into what the heck is in with the presidency and, you know, how that works. And honestly, with my new like health journey and just figuring out a lot of shit, if you will, just figuring out just a lot of shit, I think that this is the one thing, like, I have not been into politics whatsoever, but like this is the one thing that I can truly say that like I'm actually kind of interested in learning more about what goes into voting and how you vote, and kind of again just like things like that, kind of like what makes voting so important is the fact that you truly know who you want to be president. Not just picking someone, like picking either party because of what this person has, you know, like said versus what this person has said. Because honestly, they're both trying to make America great again. But what is great to this person and what is great to this person, I guess, is what I'm trying to get out there, is what I'm learning. And I guess everything's a learning process, and I think it's interesting to talk about because I feel like a lot of people who are my age either voted because they truly knew who they wanted to vote for, or people like me who are just starting to understand how this shit works. And I'm not like bashing any side, but what I am saying is I think that someone who's 22, me, and taking things seriously like this is important to talk about on my channel. And because there's probably a lot of people who are my age, maybe a little older than me, a little bit younger than me, or the newer generation who's about to turn 18, or by the time, you know, the next election comes up, who those people are just freshly 18 and get to vote and register to vote. I think this is a very good topic to talk about for those types of people who really truly don't know. And this is, again, amateur, and I'm still learning. But yeah, I am going to stop rambling, and I will come back when the brownies are ready. So now that the brownies are done, I'm going to let them cool for a little bit, and then I am going to serve a slice to myself. Obviously, we always have to. It probably could have gone a little longer. It's hard to gauge. Actually, I think it's perfect. It's just not cool yet. Let's test her out. She's so good. This is a good brownie. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, give it a big thumbs up, and comment down below something you would want me to try to make.